Ordinary people with big hearts. That's the story that we are here to tell. Join me on Held in the Palm of His Hand. Welcome to Held in the Palm of His Hands. God works in mysterious ways. We've often heard that, and some of us have even seen it. Today on this show, we are joined by two special people. What are they doing? How has God helped them? We're going to find out. Welcome, Susan and Nancy. How is it being in India?
I think it's interesting and fun to come back to where I grew up and to enjoy the hospitality of the Indian people, and especially working and loving the little children.
You were born here, both
Yes.
of you?
Yes.
You were born in India?
Yes.
Now, isn't that amazing? Tell us something about your family. We've often heard that, you're third generation coming back to India. Who was the first?
My grandfather, his name was O.O. Madison.
Okay.
And then he was here in 1920s, I believe. Yeah, 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
And then my father came back after he'd finished his college in the U.S. with my mother.
Okay.
And then all of us children here were born in India.
So how many of you were there in the family?
There's 5 of us.
5 of you all born here?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
My mother's the only foreigner.
Oh, okay.
Only American. Yes.
Okay, that's nice. So what work was your father involved in?
He was first involved in evangelism, and then, of course, he did many other jobs as he'd been here over the years. 42 years, I think he
42
worked.
years in India?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And during that time, all of you were in India as well?
Yes.
Yes.
So when did you all go back to the States?
I went back when I turned 19 to go to college.
Okay,
Same as me.
But
went
we
back.
always came back to visit.
okay. That's nice. So your home is India?
Yes.
At least 50%. 6 months? 6 months, no. Just saying.
Nice. Now, your grandfather, pioneer, evangelist, dad, evangelist, you all, what do you do?
Well, I had a dream to come back and do some mission work here in India.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't seem to get anybody to be interested in coming with me from our church at first. And I would talk to them about it, but nothing would happen. And then in 2007, a friend of mine, Sharon Isaac, who is our leader now,
Mm-hmm.
she came to me and said, "Nancy, what about going back to India? Let's take a group." So we started our first group coming here in 2008. And we've been coming back ever since for the last 5 years.
And what is this group called?
Southern Asia Humanitarian Service.
How come you came up with such a name?
When I first came back in 2008, I came with the children and Sharon, and then they left after 3 weeks. And I chose to stay here in India and go back and travel to where I had grown up, into the Punjab area, in Jalandhar.
You were born in Punjab?
I was born in Missouri,
Oh, okay.
and then I was raised in the Punjab in Jalandhar.
So you know how to speak Punjabi?
हाँ, मैं हिंदी बोल सकता.
Hindi, not
Nice.
Punjabi.
Not
That's
Punjabi.
very good.
So when I was traveling from Delhi to Jalandhar, I was traveling by myself, and a gentleman I met on the train was not happy really to see me. And he asked me, "Why are you here in my country?" And I says, I thought for a moment, and I go, "Lord, put some words in my mouth, because I don't want to be him to be angry with me or not like me." And the first word that came out was humanitarian service. So I told him that, and he goes, "Oh." His tone totally changed, and he said to me, "So what kind of humanitarian service do you do?" And I said, "I'm here to help children get uniforms, shoes, so that they can go to school and better their lives." And that's how Southern Asia Humanitarian Service came about.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you do, Susan?
Well, I started coming back to India after the tsunami in 2006 to help with that. And then I helped in other organizations. And then when I heard that Nancy was coming back, my sister, then I asked her if I could come and be her partner in this effort, because I also wanted to do what she's doing to help the children, the poorest of the children of India, and to let them and make them have a better life.
So basically, what you both do is somewhere like, I mean, something around the borders of evangelism and missionary work and, you know, teaching, all put together.
Yeah, the program that Nancy and I, her first, of course, because she came back first, the first couple of years, and then I later, is we have like a program set up where we talk a little bit with the PowerPoint, and then Nancy tells a good story because she's a good storyteller, and then we do science projects, and then we do crafts. And all of them, we choose the topic for that time we come, and then we try to keep all of those things coordinated.
So you have a common theme each time
Yes.
you come.
Yes. Yeah, we do.
Nice. Talking about your grandfather and your father, now both of them were great pioneers, I should say. Did, at the time of you, being in India, did you at any time think that you were going to, come back as, missionaries or evangelists?
No.
At any time, nothing influenced you at that time?
I had always wanted to come back, but my first thought was when I got married, I need to raise my children. Yeah. And I needed to have them be stable and happy and educated, and that was my first responsibility. So I didn't really think about coming to India until about probably 2006.
Nice.
Yeah, with me, I travel a lot with my husband and his job, so I got to bring my family back a couple of times, but as a tourist. And we just visited and ate Indian food and saw the Taj Mahal and all that kind of stuff. But when I was asked, like in the tsunami, to help, that's when I realized that I have a little bit of knowledge of the Indian culture and that I can benefit.
Obviously, staying in India.
Yes, I grew up here too, and most of my life, I left also about 19 to go to college.
Okay.
And so I knew the culture. So when I helped in those things, I started having a heart to realize. And also, like Nancy said, I wanted to stay home with my children. But of course, we weren't in one place. We moved 5 or 6, many times. I don't know how many times. But we wanted to, we had fun as a family in India. And then, it wasn't really mission-oriented yet until, 2006 and afterwards.
So when is your dad still alive?
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. He lives in Loma Linda, California now.
Okay.
He will be 90 years old October 4.
Wow.
And we will be celebrating, hopefully with all the family being there together, for the first time since our mother passed away 13 years ago.
All the family will get together.
That's nice.
Yes.
I mean, minus one person.
You're right.
It's obviously a little sad, but great in one way.
Right.
Dad, 90 years old, you spending 19 years of your life here in India. Did you at any time think that, this is not for us, we need to get back to...
No.
No.
I enjoyed my life here in India.
I didn't either. I don't think I ever disliked India. I think it was difficult sometimes. Well, maybe it was a lark when, we got head lice or we thought it was funny. My mother must not have thought so, but it was more of a childhood. I remember the first time I was asked to give a mission story. Well, I just remember when I went back to the States and, after I finished high school, like 19, 20 years old, and I was asked by the church, because I was a missionary's daughter, to tell a mission story. And I thought, what? Missionary story? I don't have any missionary story. Because I realized then that it was like home. India was home. It was just growing up naturally, like every other child. But I had to really, really think hard to find a mission story to tell my church. And I thought I guess I realized that it was not a mission field to me. It was kind of like home. India was.
Speaking of mission stories, what is your mission, in India?
Well, Nancy started it first about coming to India with Sharon and to help the least of those, like the Bible text in Matthew 25:40, to just help them with uniforms. And we started very small, uniforms and shoes and very small things. And so I liked that idea. And so when I found out that she was going, I came with them. So our project really is to help the children of India get educated. So the first thing is, like Nancy was telling me, that if they have a uniform and shoes, they get to go to school.
Yeah.
And then they
that's
go
right.
to school and they get to learn and better themselves. If they go to an Adventist school, then they get to know Jesus, and that's just an extra blessing.
So you mentioned earlier about your programs that you do. You have a set theme. Tell us a little bit about how is it teaching with children. It's not the same. I mean, you have children who are grown up probably, and you've taken care of them. But this is India. India has a whole lot of them. And
Well-
how do you manage to?
Well, the last couple of years, Nancy and I had done more like a week of prayer. But this
Okay.
year, if you can share about how we changed it a little bit, and just telling them about Jesus and sharing our love for Jesus,
So
we changed the process
you
a
were
little
doing
bit.
a whole week of prayer.
Yes.
We do 4 usually.
4 weeks of prayer
And
in India.
Yes.
In 6 weeks. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. Where all have you done this?
I started in Bangalore
Okay,
at the Sunshine Orphanage.
okay.
From there, it went to Spencer School in Bangalore, and then James School, Prakasapuram, Nazareth. And then the last year we did it at the Sunshine School.
Okay.
And we also go to another place up in, it's a deaf and mute school that we also go,
At Kolegal.
Kollega.
Yes.
And what's amazing there is we have to have a young lady translate for us in the sign language, because of course I have no clue how to sign. And it's amazing how the children grasp the information, and the smiles show us that they really are enjoying what they're seeing and hearing.
That's nice. There's one question I really want to ask you. How do you manage to do all this? I mean, as you said, 6 months here, 6 months back home, families to take care of. How do you manage to get the energy?
I think that the basic thing is God has always been the first thing I think of in the morning, ask Him to give me the energy, the strength. The other thing is, if I have my own business, and if it wasn't my husband taking care of it in the U.S., I wouldn't be able to come. I enjoy coming here, and the way we do it is that everything that we spend comes from our own pocket. All of our transportation, all of our train rides, airplane rides, all of that comes from our own personal fee. So any money that I get for the project goes for the children. We don't spend any of that at all. So that the way I do that is I go to churches and I speak, give them a PowerPoint, tell them stories, tell them about what we're trying to do for the children of India. And each year I have more and more people trusting us, because we have a policy. Anytime you give us money, 1, it goes all to the children. 2, there's always pictures showing what we have spent your money with. There's receipts and a thank you letter with all that information go to them when we get back to the States.
So how do you manage, doing this? It's just 2 of you? Or
Sharon, no, we have Sharon.
Okay.
She is
the
very
financial.
good with the financial part of it, and gives us our budget. And she's also the one that we sit together and we compose the letters. We meet every Sunday for about an hour and a half, and that's when we do a lot of our work. And then, of course, after I've done my work, I go home and I start the PowerPoints, I call, I make arrangements to go speak, and that way I'm able to hopefully bring enough money back to help the children.
Has anyone come up to you and, just blindly given whatever money or donated
Yes,
anything to you?
They do.
Yes.
Um,
I have 3 people that told me, one gentleman who is a donor that we don't know who he is, but his acquaintance told us the reason he gave us the money was because he felt that we were responsible and we were doing it for the children. Another donor, who is a young boy, heard me talking and asked me, his name is Stephen, said, "How can I help?" And I said, "You can just be our prayer partner." And he goes, "Oh, no, 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 I want to do more than that. I'll pray, but I want to do more than that." I says, "Okay, to help a child, if you get up $35, you can buy a uniform and shoes for that school year. So I thought, okay, maybe he'll come up with it or not. This was when he was 7 years old. He's been giving me money now for the last 3 years, never less than $100. It's always 100, almost to 200 every time, from his own pocketbook.
$200 for the last 3 years?
Yes.
And he's a
Wow.
fourth standard, fourth grade now.
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
And the way he does it is he saves all of his pocket money. His grandma and grandpa give him money. Whoever gives him money, he doesn't spend it on himself anymore. He spends it and gives it to me so I can spend it for the children here in India.
That's amazing. Talking about that, has anybody, from India come up and told you, I want to be part of this as well?
There's many of them that come up, but right now they have little ones. A lot of the mothers that come or the fathers that come, they're trying to financially take care of their own children at this point. And they go, well, one day we'll come. I says, you know what? When God impresses on you to come, the doors are open. You're welcome to come. We would love to have you. So there has been people that have come up and said that they would like to join us, but not right at this point.
Wonderful. It's all about the children.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it's always been about the children.
Yes.
Tell us something about, about how you go about, what's your strategy when you tackle these children?
I think, first of all, with me, I've always been very interested in children and their needs and wants. And I think a lot of children, I carry candy. And I always hand out candy. It works every time. And they will come towards you then, and you can always then engage in talking to them and asking how they're doing. And I can remember a little boy in James School, his name was Alex, and he wouldn't talk to me. He would just go away, very unhappy boy. And I one day leaned down when he was eating, I took a photo of him, and I showed it to him. And I got a slight smile, but nothing more. And then the following year, he would hang around but wouldn't stay too close. Third year, I asked him, I says, Alex, do you want some candy? And he goes, oh, yes, Nancy, Auntie. Yes, Auntie Nancy. And so I said, okay, let me get permission. I'll take you across the street and we'll go get you some candy. He says, chocolate. So I got permission and I took Alex across the street and I said, okay, Alex, whatever you can carry in your hands, you can buy. He got so excited. And he started pointing, and I says, give, and he kept having this handful of candy. And finally I says, Alex, you have enough? He goes, oh, yes, yes. I said, okay, I have one favor to ask. And he says, okay. I says, I want you to share. The big smile turned into a big frown. He goes, share? Why do I want to share? And I says, because that's what Jesus asks us to do. So he thought for a few minutes, and he says to me afterwards, he goes, okay, Auntie Nancy, a little bit I share, a little bit. So what I like to do is when I share with the children, I want them to understand that, yes, you get, but you also need to give. That is what God has always done, and that's what he asks us to do.
Amazing. What about you?
Well, I think also Nancy and I carry a camera, and I think in India, more than in America, you take photos of children and people and you show those photos, and that also brings a crowd and you can share. And I think also in this trip, the principal, like say in James School, he came right on. I was very surprised because I thought, because the culture, like you said, it might be a little bit different, and so he was so excited to join us in this effort to have the children witness for Jesus. And so he was right out there. We went out one day, and he was so excited. He made them. We all go the next day, and every day we went for like half an hour to these neighboring
places. So you had children go out and do witnessing?
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. Tell us some about
Well, I think that's really exciting to me. It happened last year. We decided just at the last minute, because we go to St. Luke Hospital, which is a leprosy hospital, and Nancy and I just go and do some things. But we decided to take the 12th standard with us, but we were like a little hesitant. And we took them, and in the bus, of course, there's boys and girls, and they were acting just like I thought, children, having fun and laughing and singing. And we were thinking, ooh, maybe we made a mistake. But when we stopped the buses, we said a prayer with them, with the girls and the boys, and we told them what we expected. And I was just thinking about it makes me like gets a little shiver because they went into this hospital and loved and shared and sang in their language, because when we went, we don't speak their language, and we couldn't get the children out. You know, because we said, okay, half an hour, you go visit, and then we'll go. And so this year, we took 11th and 12th standard, and then we did the same thing and had a program and gave them some treats. And then the boys played cricket with the children and volleyball. And because we buy those gifts also. And I tell you, we then realize, again, I don't know why we don't see that. But children, if we give them a chance and we give them a little instruction, you know, God can take a 7-year-old and do amazing things because they're willing to open up to Jesus. And I think that's what remembered Jesus again. Sometimes Nancy and I get very sad because we can't help everybody. So, sorry. But when I see that I remember Jesus, he always meets one person at a time. He's God. He can blink his eyes and everything's fixed. But he meets one person, the leper, the prostitute, the sadness, you know, and he fixes and changes and touches a child. And that's how he works. Amazing way. Amazing. You think we think, you know, we just blink our eyes and everything's fixed. But God doesn't work like that. I think that taught us a lesson.
Humans usually see the sin. They don't see that child. Jesus sees the sin, but he puts it to the side and he sees that child and the beauty that that child has, and where that child can go if he's only given a chance or she's given a chance.
We don't have much time, so I'm just going to ask you, you know, very quickly, tell us a little bit about the fun day.
Oh, the fun days are so much fun. We get up at 5 o'clock. We're on the bus by 5:30 in the morning, and we took over 170 children in 4 buses, very crowded, and we go to the beach. And the kids swim in the water, and they had the most exciting time. And the boys, of course, are on one side because of the culture, and the girls are on the other side. My sister and I go to out as far as we can in the water because we swim very well. And then the children know that they're not allowed to go past us. And we had 2 hours of these children playing and making sand castles and playing in the water and just having a great time. That is one of the things that we do. Another thing is we do a movie.
We fed them vetas and bananas.
Another thing we do is we had they gave us a talent show. Usually I show a movie, but this time we asked them if they would do a talent show. And the amazing things that the children can do again. The singing, beautiful way of singing. The music, the skits, the dancing. It was absolutely the most wonderful time we had with them. So those are some of the things that we do.
And then the last is ice cream.
Yes, and
everybody
the children
always end with ice cream, something sweet.
Yes, everybody ends with ice cream.
Well, it was fun talking to both of you, and you know, thank you for the amazing work that you're doing in India. I hope we'll, you know, get to see more people coming like this forward, and you know, spending quality time with children.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this show, feel free to write into us at info@hopetvindia.org. Thank you again for joining us. See you again next time.